What's going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast. And on this broadcast, we're going to be bantering about the state of the 2023 Toronto Blue Jays. Now, before I get into it and break down the entirety of this franchise, we have a corresponding article up on laracuenteledger.com. Links are in the show notes below if you want to check that out. Now, we begin with a major acquisition. Now, for Toronto, their major acquisition this offseason was Chris Bassett. Adding Bassett to the rotation is really going to provide a lot of veteran leadership for this Toronto Blue Jays rotation. I think that there's a lot to like about their rotation already, and this is just going to be another key contributor in addition to this roster. I think that there were some questions about some of the guys that are on this roster, plus you're already dealing with injuries to a guy like Hyun-Jin Ryu. So being able to re-solidify this rotation and have a veteran guy in there who can pair well and very nicely with a guy like Alek Manoah is really going to stand well for the Blue Jays. Now, when it comes to the significant injuries, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was a concern. Now, while it wasn't going to be a serious concern for the long term, I do believe that the Blue Jays were going to be taking it very easy with Vladdy Jr. in spring training. Vlad would pull out from the WBC, and that's the reason why he made this position on this list. I think that if this was in the regular season, if this was a September, October situation, the Blue Jays would have had Vlad playing through it. But as it is early on in the season, they're going to be careful. They're going to be cautious. Going into this 2023 campaign, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is extremely important to what the Blue Jays are looking to do in not just making the postseason, but having an extended run. So they're going to take it easy with Vlad, and that's why he makes the significant injury list. Now, as we look at the top prospect for the Blue Jays, Ricky Tiedemann is going to be that number one guy. I think that for the Blue Jays, this left-hander is really going to be someone that they're going to be paying attention to over the next coming couple of seasons. There's an opportunity that we could see him in 2024, but I think that it's more likely going to be maybe a September call-up, but probably 2025. For Toronto, this left-hander is really going to be someone that they're going to pay attention as how he matures. He already has a very good fastball and is developing the slider and a changeup to really be able to balance himself out as a starting pitcher. There's going to be an opportunity that this player could really start to grow and develop in a big way in 2023 and push that timeline further up into 2024. But for the Blue Jays, there's no doubt that this is a young pitcher that they are very much excited about. Now, speaking about another pitcher the Blue Jays are excited about, our bold prediction is that Alek Manoah is going to finish in the top 5 voting of the American League Cy Young Award. This is going to be a guy who absolutely is able to dominate a lineup. There's no doubt about it that there is a brashness and arrogance, a confidence of Alek Manoah that is very rare for many other pitchers on his roster. There's also going to be an opportunity that this player really goes out and backs up all of the kind of trash talking that we've seen him do. This is someone that the Blue Jays fans are very excited over, and rightfully so. The stuff that Manoah has is electric and something that you definitely want to pay attention to as a fan of the game of baseball. I think that for Manoah, there's going to be an opportunity as he continues to learn, to grow, to develop his ability, that he really starts to hone in and be able to dominate a lineup 2, 3, maybe even 4 times through if necessary. This is a guy who absolutely has the opportunity to be able to not just be the ace of the Blue Jays staff, but one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. And with that in mind, I believe he ends up within the top 5 voting for the Cy Young. Now, when it comes to predicting the divisional rankings, we believe the Blue Jays end up in second place. Heading into the 2022 season, the Blue Jays were looked at as the absolute hands-down favorite in the division. That wasn't necessarily the case. We here at the Baseball Banter Broadcast said that they would land in second, and that's what happened. Here again in 2023, we're making the same prediction. I think that for Toronto, there's going to be a season-long battle, and I don't think that the lead that they suffered in 2022 to the New York Yankees is going to be quite as large. But I do believe that Toronto is going to find themselves in a situation where they're still having to figure out and learn certain things and develop on the go. And with that, I do believe they land in second place. Now, when it comes to grading out the pitching staff, this is an A overall pitching staff. The bullpen for the Blue Jays, the starting rotation, there's a lot to like on both sides. I think that there's an opportunity that Manoah, like I just said, it finishes in the top 5 of the AL Cy Young. There's also an opportunity that we could be seeing some of the best relievers in baseball coming out of this Blue Jays pen. There's an opportunity that with the depth that the Blue Jays have in their starting rotation and the bullpen, that they're really able to dominate in a way that we have not seen in a very long time. I think for Toronto, being able to rely on that pitching staff to combine with the offense that they have is really going to give them a very formidable lineup. Now, when it comes to grading out the offense, I believe that it's also an A lineup. To me, the Blue Jays have a quality player at each and every position, and arguably a couple of players at each position that could be extremely valuable and highly ranked in Major League Baseball. I think there's an opportunity that the Blue Jays are really going to continue that development and start to take things to the next level. I think there's an opportunity that as they continue to mature and develop and grow in their abilities and understanding their talents and what they have to do in that lineup on a nightly basis, they're going to get even better. I think that there's an opportunity for the Blue Jays to really go out in 2023, show the world what they have with their second generation stars, and really put themselves in a very prime position for success in 2023. The addition of Dalton Varsho is going to be a very big one for me in terms of what the Blue Jays are capable of, because he brings balance to the lineup that otherwise wasn't there. As a left-handed bat in a very righty predominant lineup, he gives a bit of a different look, a bit of a separation. And to me, that's only going to help the Blue Jays even more so with their offensive capabilities. Now, when it comes to grading out the offseason, it's a B- grade. Now, the reason why it ends up at this position is while I do absolutely love the addition of Dalton Varsho, I think that it makes a very big move. Being able to trade away Gabriel Moreno and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is really going to stand to hurt the depth of the Blue Jays. I also believe that trading away Teoscar Hernandez and what he meant to that clubhouse was going to be a very big blow. Now, yes, the Blue Jays are going to say all the right things and be able to go about their work in 2023 in the right way. But I think that when you miss out on a presence like Teoscar Hernandez, not just in the lineup, but also in the clubhouse, there's going to be a void. The addition of Chris Bassett is really going to help that pitching staff in a very big way, in my opinion. But again, overall, I think that there was a very solid move, an above average offseason for the Blue Jays, but a little bit more could have been done to kind of restore some of the lost morale value that was Teoscar Hernandez. Now, grading out the franchise as a whole is an A overall grade. I think that Toronto is in such a prime position to really be able to take it to the next level. The additions to the rotation, the additions to the lineup to bring balance, to me, is really going to be a situation where Toronto goes out in 2023 and has a magical season. I think there's an opportunity that this team, as young as it is continuing to develop. They're understanding now the rigors of a full major league season. They're understanding the grind that it is for the postseason, and being able to have that taste makes this team very hungry, and that's what makes them very dangerous, in my opinion. So going into this 2023 campaign, there's a lot to like if you're a fan of the Blue Jays, but I want to hear from those fans. Let me know, Blue Jays fans, how are you feeling about your team in 2023? What are you most looking forward to? What are your concerns? Let me know that down in the comments, or find me over on Twitter at @banter_baseball, and we can keep the conversation rolling. If you want to follow us on our social media outlets, we're also on Instagram and TikTok at Baseball Banter Broadcast. You can follow our website where we put up new articles daily, mostly covering the world of Major League Baseball, but some other topics as well at laracuenteledger.com. And if you want to show more support even beyond that, head over to our merchandise shop, baseballbanterbroadcast.com, where we have a ton of merch and promo codes you can use to save on that representing the Baseball Banter broadcast. If you haven't already and you want to show support here on this YouTube channel, hit the subscribe and the bell for post notifications. That allows us to continue trying to build and grow this baseball community. Most of our audience here on YouTube is not yet subscribed. So if you haven't and you love what you're getting here, the content that we're bringing you on a daily basis, hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast listening platform, make sure you leave a 5-star rating and review, as it continues to move us up the algorithm and continue growing this baseball community. So I want to thank you once again for tuning in. Keep it locked in all season long as we continue to broadcast and banter about the world of baseball. Peace.